Hello there, it's Alana Tuckey, and I'm here to help you with more calculator instructions. This time I'm going to teach you how to turn on the diagnostics on your calculator and find r squared. I want to reiterate what it says right here, which is that this is a one-time set of instructions. Once you do this, your calculator will forever find r squared unless you turn it off with diagnostics off, which is basically be a repeat of these instructions. Okay, so you'll only have to do this one time, and then forevermore your calculator will be giving you these r squared values at the bottom, like in the screen captures down here. All right, so how do we do it? Well, let's see. You go to your calculator, turn it on, obviously, and you want to go to the catalog, which is above the 0 button. So you want to hit second 0 to get to catalog. Now these are in alphabetical order, and you could press down for a really long time to get to the D's, but it's faster to hit the alpha key and then D. And that'll take you, oops, should take you, hold on. I think I hit it again. It's not liking me. Oh, there they are. It was being weird there. All right, so it takes you to the D's, and you kind of scroll down a bit. There it is. So see how the arrow is on DiagnosticsOn? Let me go one too many. There we go. So the arrow's on DiagnosticsOn. That's what you want. So you want to hit enter, and then enter, and it'll say done. From now on, diagnostics are turned on this calculator. Why don't they just turn them on to start? I have no idea, but the TI company doesn't turn them on automatically. You have to do it. If you ever want to turn them off, you go back and hit diagnostics off. All right, so now I'm going to actually run a regression so you can see what it looks like. So I have this burglary data right here. So I'm going to go to stat number 1. And hey, I already have it in there. Wonderful. If I didn't, I would go up and press clear to clear out any old data I've got, and then type it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 20, 21. This one ends at 21. There we go. Not 22 like you might think, because it's going up by 2s until that point. All right, and then you would go type the same, go to the right and type it for your other, but I already have it in there. Beautiful. Okay, so let's clear that. You don't need to see that. All right, then we're going to run, let's run a linear regression first. So stat, calculate. Number 4 is linear regression. And I'll tell it L1, L2, oh, and heck, I'll store the equation. I'm going to store the equation variables, y variables. Y variables? It's being weird for me. There it is. Function number 1. And I'm going to store the linear 1 as y1. I'm going to go down to calculate and press enter. Cool. And you can see there's the r squared value, 0.77178, which should match, look at that, 0.7718. That's what Excel gave us as well, which of course I'll show you in another video how to get it from Excel. Excel is actually much quicker. All right, so then let's go back. How do we do it with exponential? So you go stat, calculate. Exponential, if you recall, is number 0, close to the bottom of the list. So you hit 0, L1, L2, that's fine, but I'm going to store in y2 this time because I already have y1 taken up by my linear one. So I'm going to say function's fine, but I'm going to say y2. There we go. So I'm going to store this one in y2. Click calculate. And it runs it. There we go. And you can see the r squared values right there, 0.799. Don't worry about what r is. That's another thing that I'm not going to teach you. If you want to know more about r squared and r, take a statistics class. So there it is, 0.799. Great. All right, so now I'm going to run it one more time with quadratic. So stat, calculate. Quadratic is number 5. So I'm going to hit 5. I'm going to store this one in y3 because it's my third equation. So variables, y variables, number 1, but now I'm going to pick number 3 because I want it to be y3. Go down to calculate and press enter. Now if I go to y equals, I can see that all of them are turned on and my scattergram is turned on. So if I hit zoom 9, which will match to the scattergram, there's the data, there's the linear, there's the exponential. It's really close to the linear for the period that we're looking at. And there's the quadratic. Boy, isn't that doing a good job. However, it doesn't do a good job past that point. See that over there? That's probably not a good sign. Awesome. So we have all three. Now if you don't want to look at all three at once, what you can do is go back to y equals. Let's say I want to look at only the linear. So you move your blinker, your cursor, over to the equal signs, and you can press enter on them, and that'll turn them off. So if I press enter on both of those, now it'll only graph the linear one because only the linear one has got the little dark symbol on the equal sign. So if I press graph, there's the data, there's the linear. And I could draw that or take a picture. Okay? And then I could do it again, but I could turn off the linear. So I'm going to go to the left. I'm not clearing them because I don't really want them to go away. They're such a pain to find. But I don't want to actually look at all three of them at the same time. So I'm going to press equals on that one. See how the equal sign's dark? And then I moved away. And I press graph. And it's got a little bit of a curve to it. It's a little hard to see, but it does have a bit of an arc. Right? And then let me go, oh, rats, come back. All right, I wanted to take a picture of that. All right, and then let me go back to y equals. Let me go to the left to the equal signs, and press enter. Turn that off, and I'm going to go down here. If I left it like this, none of them would be graphed, right? Scatter plot. Right, because all the equal signs are turned off. All right, so I need to go down to that third one, go to the left, and press enter on that equal sign. Now it's dark, and it'll graph it. Beautiful. Gorgeous. All right, and it found all three r-squared values for me too. I don't know if you caught that, but the r-squared value was there. Let me pull it back up for the quadratic. I don't need to store it again because I already stored it one time, so I can just go down to calculate. And there it is. See, r squared is 0.967, which shouldn't come as any great shock because that one's by far doing the best job of matching the data. Now it's interesting to notice that even though it's doing the best job for while it's there, it's not necessarily going to do the best job further on. That's probably the exponential one. And also that the r-squared value is exactly the same as what the calculator comes up with, right? Which is good to know, right? The calculator and Excel don't do r, and I won't get into that for why that is for quadratic, but there's good reasons. Alrighty, so we know how to turn diagnostic on and find r-squared values anytime we want. Good for us. And what's more, we also know how to compare models now, because now you've seen it, you can actually draw each of these models with your calculator. You don't have to do Excel. Excel's better, of course, because Excel allows for labeling and better control of your axes and all that good stuff, what your tick marks are worth, everything like that. But this is still pretty nice in the calculator. It still gives you a good sense. It's on a different scale, of course, because your X and Y axis limits are different. So it's a slightly different picture, but it's the same data. All right, so now you know how to find every regression model you could want and how to find r-squared value for each of them and how to graph them, not as nicely as Excel does here, but how to do it just the same. All right, I'll see you back here for more videos.